The hatred is a compass. For 2 days it has pointed Roric sea of the Sunstone clan north, following the trail of a single black-fanged warrior. The scent of his brother's blood is cold now, but the memory is a hot coal in his gut. He moves through the thorny scrub, his eyes scanning not for game, but for the scuff of a hide boot, the glint of a discarded flint shard. He finds it, a single dark drop of blood on a pale stone. The warrior is wounded, and Ric's pace quickens. The compass needle inside him spins, its true north a clean spear throw away. He corners his prey in a small canyon dominated by a single wind-carved spire of rock. The black-fanged warrior, Kalen, stands with his back to the stone, his breath coming in ragged gasps, a crude bandage of leaves tied around his forearm. There is nowhere left to run. The two men face each other, the last rays of the setting sun painting the red dust of the canyon floor in shades of fire and blood. They are young, but their faces are old with the hatred inherited from their grandfathers for generations. Their clans have been locked in a bitter war for the valley's scarce resources, a conflict that has turned every chance encounter into a fight for survival. Roric raises his spear. The ghost of his brother Roric whispers in his ear, "This is the moment. A clean throw. A debt paid." Kalen, seeing the finality in Ric's eyes, raises his own weapon, not in hope of victory, but in defiance. The air is thick with the promise of violence. And then the world changes. A sliver of bone-white light crests the canyon wall, and the sky bleeds from orange to a deep, star-dusted indigo. The full moon rises a perfect luminous disk and washes the red dust and silver. A low sound escapes Kalen's lips, not of fear, but of awe. Roric feels the bloodlust in his veins turn to ice. His arm, poised to strike, begins to tremble. It is the blood moon. It is their most sacred law, a ritual prohibition so ancient it is said to have been handed down from their shared Australopithecus ancestors. For the single night the moon shows its full face, no blade can be raised by one man against another. No blood of man can be spilled. To break the truce is to be unmade, to have your spirit devoured by the night sky itself. It is the one thread of shared belief that connects the warring clans, a single point of terrified reverence in a universe of mutual hatred. It is the ultimate community point, a law that transcends the tribe. Ric's muscles scream in protest. The need for vengeance is a physical thing, a fire that demands to be fed. But the fear of the moon, the fear of becoming a ghost on the wind, is a deeper, colder force. He lowers his spear, the obsidian tip scraping against the stone with a sound that is painfully loud in the sudden silence. Across the canyon floor, Kalen does the same. The moment of violent release is gone, stolen by the silent, watching eye in the sky. They are no longer hunter and prey. They are two enemies trapped in a cage of sacred light with a long, dark night ahead of them. The moonlight is a cold, sterile fire. It illuminates everything but warms nothing. Roric and Kalen remain frozen in their positions to statues in a silvered arena. The hatred between them is still a living thing, a coiled serpent waiting for the sun to return. But for now, it is held in check by a more ancient fear. The canyon grows cold, a deep, biting chill that seeps from the stone and into their bones. This is an intelligence point so fundamental it transcends clan lines. A sound breaks the stillness. It is not the wind. It is a deep guttural roar that echoes from the plains beyond the canyon mouth, a sound that promises a swift and brutal death. Roric has heard that sound before. The great hunter, the walking death. Allosaurus. The sound is a reminder that in this prehistoric world, their feud is a small, insignificant thing. There are older, more dangerous hatreds at play. The roar is followed by the panicked shriek of some smaller creature, a sound that is cut off abruptly. The hunt is on, and they are trapped in its path. Roric makes the first move. It is not a gesture of peace, but one of pure, selfish pragmatism. He needs a fire. He unslings the small hide pouch from his belt, the one containing his fire kit, to pieces of flint and a shard of iron pyrite. Kalen watches him, his hand tightening on the shaft of his spear, his body tensing for a trick. But Rory C. ignores him. He begins to gather the sparse, dry brush that clings to the base of the canyon wall. This is the moment of foresight. KLN understands. A fire will keep the cold at bay. A fire will keep the great predator at a distance. And Rory C. is the only one who can make it. KLN looks down at the large, dead branch he had been using as a walking staff to support his wounded arm. It is old, dry, perfect fuel. Without a word, he shoves the branch with his foot, sending it skittering across the dust toward the small pile of tinder Rory C. has gathered. It is a symbolic gesture, an unspoken negotiation. I will not hinder you, for your survival is currently attached to my own. Rory C. pauses, looks at the branch, then at KLN. He gives a short, almost imperceptible nod. He strikes the flint and pyrite together. The first spark dies in the cold air. The second catches in the tinder. He blows on it gently, nursing the fragile ember into a tiny flame. The fire grows a small, defiant star in the immense darkness. They sit on opposite sides of the flames, the spears laid on the ground beside them pointed away. The fire is a boundary, a shared space, a temporary shield. In the flickering light, they see each other clearly for the first time. Rory C. sees KLN's wound, the clumsy way he tightens the bandage, the wince of pain he tries to hide. He is not a monster. He is a man who bleeds. KLN sees the exhaustion in Roric's eyes, the deep lines of grief etched around his mouth. The labels of Sunstone and Black Fang begin to fray at the edges, revealing the simple, vulnerable truth of the Homo sapiens beneath. The night wears on, measured by the slow march of the moon across the sky and the dwindling pile of firewood. The roars of the Allosaurus fade, the distant threat that has passed them by. In its place, a heavy silence settles, broken only by the crackle of the flames. They do not speak. There are no words for this, no language to bridge the chasm of their clan's blood feud, but in the shared silence, a different kind of communication takes place. Rory C. watches KLN redress his wound, the clumsy movements of a man in pain. KLN watches Rory C. stare into the flames, his face unguarded for a moment, revealing a grief so profound it needs no name. They are two men alone in the dark, kept to live by a fire they both feed. The first hint of dawn is a pale, sickly grey that begins to dilute the silver moonlight. The truce is dying. The magic of the night is bleeding out of the world, and with its retreat, the old hatred begins to stir. They can feel it, a tension that returns to their shoulders, a hardening of their expressions. Soon, the sun will crest the canyon wall. Soon, they will be enemies again. The man who sits across the fire will once again become the face of a lifetime of loss, the symbol of a brother's stolen breath. KLN shivers, a tremor that has nothing to do with the cold. His lips are cracked, his face pale in the dying firelight. His wound has taken more from him than just blood. He reaches for the small water skin at his belt, his movements slow and clumsy. He fumbles with the knot, his fingers stiff and uncooperative. The skin falls from his grasp, landing in the dust. He is too weak, too exhausted to retrieve it. Rory C. watches him. The firelight dances in his eyes, and for a moment, the face across from him is not KLN's. It is Joe Rick's, pale and still. The rage, the need for vengeance, surges in his throat, hot as bile. This is his enemy, weak, vulnerable. The sun is almost here. But the image fades, replaced by the reality of the man before him, a thirsty creature brought low by a wound, just as Rory C. was. In a world of sharp, clear certainties, a fog of confusion descends. This is the moment of cognitive dissonance, the clash of two truths. This man is my brother's killer, this man is a human being suffering before me. He makes a choice that has no name in the lexicon of his clan. He unslings his own water skin, the hide cool against his hand. He holds it out across the fire. It is not an act of forgiveness. It is not an act of peace. It is a simple, inexplicable act of altruism, an offering from one living thing to another. KLN stares at the water skin, then at Roric's face, his eyes wide with disbelief. He hesitates, then slowly reaches out and takes it. The sound of his swallowing impossibly loud in the silence. He hands it back. Their fingers do not touch. The first ray of sunlight strikes the top of the canyon spire, a spear of gold that kills the last of the moonlight. The truce is over. They rise as one, the spell broken. They pick up their spears. The weight of the weapons is familiar, comfortable. The weight of the memory of the night is not. They look at each other, and for a heartbeat, there is a flicker of understanding, a shared secret. Then it is gone. Rory C. turns and walks away. Kaelin does the same, in the opposite direction. No final words are spoken. There is only the dying fire between them, and a question that will now follow them both into the daylight. The hatred that was once a compass is now a broken stone. Rory C. and Kaelin return to their clans as enemies, the feud between them still a living, breathing thing. But the memory of a shared fire, of an offered drink, is a seed planted in the barren ground of their war. It is a dangerous seed, for it is the beginning of the most revolutionary idea in the history of Homo sapiens, the idea that the enemy is you. But it began a new kind of conflict, a battle within the mind itself. It is the quiet, agonizing birth of empathy, the recognition that the lines we draw in the dust are not as real as the blood we share or the thirst we feel. Every peace treaty, every negotiation, every time a hand is extended across a divide, it is an echo of this first, fragile truce, a testament to the profound truth that sometimes, the only way to see the humanity in your enemy is to be forced to survive a night with them. Before you can make peace, you must first be forced to see. And from a cave deep within the Black Fang territory, a new kind of tool is being sharpened.